Hello everybody, I'm James Blinken and you're watching The Culturalist, and like most people, I like dogs and grew up with some form of Scooby-Doo. So if you hate Scooby-Doo, there's the door, and thank you, you still gave me a view. James Gunn wrote the script for the 2002 Scooby-Doo live-action movie starring Rowan Atkinson, Matthew Lillard, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and more, directed by the same person who did the Smurfs movie. There's no hate here, I just don't know who Raja Gosnell is. And I don't know how to pronounce names either, but I do surely know James Gunn, and no, it's not because we share the same first name. Okay, maybe a bit, but he's also a filmmaker and makes movies I love. So that is a thing too. Okay, point is, the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie was originally not going to be a kids movie, and this is known. But today, I would like to walk through and explain some reasons why it's not. Let's move into it. In the opening of the movie, it's cut off, but Daphne is about to say the ghost is holding her by the ass. Anything to do with Scooby and Shaggy and the Mystery Machine with smoke coming out of it, there's surely a weed reference, because, you know, Shaggy being a stoner with Scooby is an urban legend, though dogs can't smoke weed. A little PSA side note there. The love interest of Shaggy in the movie is named Mary Jane, and Shaggy says, like, that's my favorite name. And I'm sorry about the Shaggy impression, but my Scooby is way better. Raggy. Next, I forgot Rowan Atkinson's character name because, spoilers, he's not really a person. But he says he wouldn't want to run into him in a dark alley, and I refuse to overthink what that means. Too late. Fred talks about how dorky chicks turn him on in a conversation with Velma. Like, I don't want to think of Fred being turned on. That is something that is reserved for this man or this man. It's based off a children's cartoon. Next to general over-sexualness of Daphne. Also, fun fact, did anyone know Daphne's last name was Blake? I fucking didn't. And yes, are parents oversensitive these days, showing their kids what they deemed appropriate? Of course, this is a very subjective thing. You got parents who won't let their kids even hear commercials on TV, and you have ones that don't care if a 7-year-old is watching the Hangover trilogy. And there's an in-between. Moving on, Fred calls Rowan Atkinson's character the equivalent of Mr. Herpes, which is great. Again, a kid would not know what that means. Nevertheless, not really kid-friendly. Unless you want them to know what it is, maybe Scooby-Doo is the perfect sex ed movie. And next is Scrappy-Doo marking his territory and Fred calling him out, the territory being Daphne. What the fuck is this movie? And why is it this crazy? Who gave them the balls? James Gunn. Yeah, early 2000s white male dominated industry, and that is coming from a white male. I don't freaking know what to say next. When the gang switches bodies and they're all freaking themselves out, it's more the male characters, but it's surely over-sexualized. Okay, starting to feel like a mom who would ban books in a library. Next, finally, Fred saying his root beer was spiked, when we know A, he would not be drinking a fucking root beer, 2, horny bastard, and 3, he says talk me down like he's on a bad trip, which is funny considering he's taking a trip away from his body, so kinda accurate. Okay, these are not new details, but I think it proves my point that Scooby-Doo 2002 is without a doubt one of the best early 2000s movies ever made, especially if you grew up with it like me. This movie is not supposed to be taken seriously. It's a campy early 2000s film, basically parodying a kid's cartoon, but I think it aged like fine wine, and I love it. Nothing more to say. I know parents nowadays may think it's a little too risque, but let me tell you, not letting your kids watch this masterpiece should be a crime, especially if they love Scooby-Doo. It's not like watching the live-action Flintstones movie. That was just blah. And I'm not saying I support the over-sexualization of female characters. I'm just saying I like this movie, all right? Don't come at me, please, please, please. Anyway, I've been James Blinken, this has been The Culturalist, and thanks for watching. See you next time, a Scooby-Dooby-Doo!